Okay. We're streaming. This is fun. Okay, so am I hearing myself? I don't think so. Hello, Tiny Pants. Can you hear me? I'm assuming you can because it looks like I'm seeing the stuff there. I'm not hearing myself. Yay! Can you hear the game music and stuff? Because I'm trying to. It's a long story, but I sort of restarted my computer, and by restarted I mean I put in a new hard drive to use as my operating system hard drive. Oh, and so I pretty much started from scratch on my computer because my hard drive was old and it had a lot of stuff that couldn't be removed, and it was also removed. Yay! I'm glad you can hear all. This makes me excited. Anyways, today was the day of fixing my streaming software OBS because I just I worked all day on yesterday, and I say all day. I started probably at about 2 or 3, probably 2. Uh, First, reinstalling the hard drive again with the SD card thumb drive recovery stick that I created, which is a whole story into itself. And so yesterday I spent getting my computer back into a basic working order, and today was specifically for getting it into streaming order, to which it actually works a whole lot better. I say a whole lot better. There are certain games that I have put so many mods into that it still is questionable whether I should be running that many mods. And honestly, I should look at it because there are some that I don't use, but they're there because I'm like, I'll use it eventually. Am I? Anyways, how you doing? How you doing? It's been a minute. It's been a minute. All right, I'm going to minimize. Okay, I'm also going to minimize. What is that? Oh, that's the play games with friends on Discord thing. All right. Yay, that's awesome. I wish I could take Wednesday off because that's my birthday, but I can't. But I took out like 2 hours on my calendar for work, um, to so for lunch at Ramen Tatsuya because they have a crawfish slash Cajun ramen, and I am here for it. I've only tasted the broth when Denise got it a couple of weeks ago or so, and I had already gotten my thing. I was like, I'll try the broth, but I don't like deviating from what I normally like because half the time it's not good. But this was actually really good. Aw, okay. Well, that's okay. I'm sorry about the sad story. I am low key with my birthdays at this point. I would like to, when I hit a higher number like 45 or 50, then maybe yes. But I honestly had to remember that I was turning 43 and not already 43, turning 44. This is also true. I know all the good ramen places, even the place that we went, the Ramen 512. Like, I haven't been back there because it's only open for dinner and I tend to be working during that time, but I would love to go back there because that ramen was really good too. But Ramen Tatsuya, which is incredibly dangerous to be that close to me now because it's right around the corner. I could walk there in about 5 minutes if I were driven. Yeah, Ramen Tatsuya is so good. Ramen 512 is not bad. I definitely need to go back there. There are other places I've been and I'm just like, if I never eat this again, I won't be sad. Um Some that I really thought was going to be like, man, this should have been so good, and somehow it's not. And I love Junior Ramen, which is in the domain, but the domain is not meant for cars, and nor did they really want you to bring your car. They wanted it to be an area for people who live there, but they should have had so many good stuff like Hat Creek Burgers, which I would love to go to Hat Creek soon. It's been a minute, and I really love their burgers. Genia's good. They're people that taught me that a pat of butter can elevate any ramen. And now I even asked for a pat of butter over at Ramen Tatsuya, and their ramen, which was already really good, somehow gets elevated because butter is life. Yeah, if you can find a place in a parking garage, like I don't mind walking around the domain. It's just trying to find that space. But also, if you're trying to go there for a quick eating thing, I don't want to have to hunt and then walk 45 minutes to find my car. So at this point, I just park on the main street. I don't even know the name of that street at this point. And just walk past Hat Creek, and then legit like 2 stores down, you get Genia. Anyways, let's get started with this gameplay. It's been a minute. We're on to the second DLC. I think there's only 5 chapters to this. Yes, I know how to count. 5 chapters. But so far, we've only done 1 because the one last time was really hard for some reason. Just so difficult. Oh my goodness. That must feel weird. That must feel real weird. We should get back here eventually. I don't really have a place for you to stay at this point because my mattress is so bad, and I can sleep on it, but I don't think anyone else would feel good after they slept on it. I won't even let my parents come visit at this point, not unless they want to stay in a hotel. Eternity's End. The spiritual leader meets an unexpected fate. What do you mean unexpected? It sounds like very expected in my opinion, but okay, let's see what that fate is. Okay. All right, we got 55 words to find, 50 spots to check. Okay, where to start? Let's start with the people. It seems like a good idea. No worries. I'll do the reading out loud, but this is just, collect all the words and gather up the clues and try not to ignore any mundane detail. Okay, let's not start with this guy because he says something that seems important. I felt sick after dinner last night, but it passed quickly. At first, I assumed it must be food poisoning. Then after I began vomiting foam, I thought maybe the virus had returned. Now, though, I finally understand my body knew something was wrong with First Sentinel Nagase. That dude's eyebrows are wild. As First Sentinel Nagase scribe of 28 years, I feel it in my duty to document this morning's tragic events. By the time I awoke, Kwanzaa was already laying the table. When I came outside, I saw her knock for First Sentinel Nagasai. There we go, Nagasai. But no one answered, so she let herself into his quarters. A few moments. I can't read. I love the art style of this game. It is unsettling at best, horrifying at worst, and I love it. No complaints here. It's so fun. A few moments later, she emerged, told us all the terrible news. He too had fallen ill and had died in his sleep. Ori and Koi have now been allowed in to see their father while the rest of us wait outside. Gresto. So this is Gresto. Gresto with the strange eyebrows. Okay. The same thing happened to me. I threw up all foamy after dinner, but soon I was fine again. I wonder why only us two seem to have gotten affected. Perhaps we have unknowingly reached a higher level of empathy than the others, which allowed us to feel the First Sentinel's energy moving through us in his final moments. And for some reason, he has a watering can. Okay? You shouldn't feel sick or sad for that matter. You should feel nothing in particular, for he is not gone. His consciousness may simply be redistributed. Yep. Now come on. I've already laid the table. Let's eat breakfast We don't want last night's leftovers going to waste. Okay. That's the lady. Okay. Let's go over here. Let's look at this because this seems special at least. Okay, we have a stake with a rope on it. There's some footprints around. There's some hoof prints around. Maybe some scrapes and larger footprints. All right. Newcomer's Handbook. Gardening duties. Evening. During the evening, you may rest. Cooking duties. Morning. Serve everyone their own leftovers from the previous. I tried to adjust how I view my setup for streaming, and I put one of the screens on the wrong screen, and it's messing me up. I can't with this. So I'm going to swap them back to where they normally are. All right, there we go. Cooking duties. Morning. Serve everyone their own leftovers from the previous evening meal. During the afternoon fast, you may take time off to meditate or study. Evening. Cook, bless, and serve a hearty yet simple meal of spiced rice. That's not hearty. Okay, when the table is set, remember the longer a dedicant has been here, the closer to the first sentinel's end of the table they have the honor of sitting. First sentinel, and then seniority. Cool. We also have to figure out who sat where. Based on all these people, some of these we haven't met, and then the dead one. So that's cool. That's cool. What did we not? Oh, we didn't finish looking at the plants. I didn't realize there were some exclamation points over here. A mint plant. Fun. A jasmine plant. Fun. A chili plant. Love it. Okay. This does seem like it's not going to be a spicy chili, for there's not a lot of water here. All right. Okay. Ooh, this is important information. To being able to recognize that this is mint, this is jasmine, and this is chili. And it's spiced rice. You know what? Honestly, would love a chili plant. Denise grows chilies or jalapenos on her patio, and some of them have kicked her butt. That's really fun. But yeah, there. It's apparently it's not too difficult. I forgot I could zoom. I don't necessarily want to grow any of these plants or anything. Like, I don't have a passion for gardening like some people do. My mom's all about it. She's excited about spending the money that I gave her for her birthday or Mother's Day on some some potted plants, plant pots. There we go. Right? Like, someone else do the work and I'll just, maybe water them. Would be good. Okay, we got some jasmine, we got some mint, we got some chili powder, we got some mushrooms or peanuts. Okay, never mind. Coriander seeds, peas, nope, cumin seeds, and mustard seeds. I decided I shouldn't guess on the seeds because they could have been peas, beans, or seeds, apparently. Make your rice twice as nice by adding your choice of spice. That's so cute. Mint does repel bugs. You know what? Like any bug, or is it like all bugs? Wild mix, mint. Okay, so these are the things that we need to remember. So someone had the wild mix, the fresh mix, mild mix, and the earth mix. Okay, cool. Mint leaves, mustard seeds, coriander seed. They have the distinction between whole and ground, which makes sense. Okay. So then, I guess we still don't have enough information to determine who ate where, but we can figure out what they ate. Except I have the worst memory. And you can't just bring up these things and be able to like pull them to the side like you can with this stuff. Um, well, I guess I can because this is that. So we know we have two wild mixes. We have a fresh mix, a mild mix, and two earth mixes. But the question is, what is the first Sentinel's end of the table? Because they don't exactly tell you that. But maybe this does say, because they're kind of separated, and then maybe the next person sits over here, and then the next person here, this person, and then, go on down the line. Interesting, though. Interesting. I like that bugs don't like mint. Also heard that coffee was poisonous to a lot of bugs, but I think that's only if they eat the seeds or something. Get out of here. Okay, there we go. All right. Yeah, let's we don't have all the information yet, obviously, but we have enough. And we have some, I should say. We don't have enough. Let's go look at this. Waterfall proclamations. December 4th, 1912. First Sentinels may not accept donations. They must do away with material goods and wealth. February 13th, 1915. When a Sentinel dies, his eldest son succeeds him. If the first Sentinel has no sons, there can be no new first Sentinel until another is chosen by the universe to fulfill the ancient prophecy. That feels dicey at best. November 23rd, 1915. In the case of twins, there can be two first Sentinels. Well, that's kind of sweet. June 3rd, 1939. Sin is no longer to be met with punishment but compassion. That's a unique way of thinking, and I kind of like that. November 24th, 1940. The first true first Sentinel, First Sentinel Nagasai, will live forever. He proceeded to not. But I mean, that's wishful thinking too. I don't know what year this takes place in now that I think about it. All right. We have antiemetics. Avoid alcohol use during usage period, of course. Homeopathic solution, Moondrift, prescribed by Rallo Krish. Okay. Homeopathic solution 104. That's not very clear. Calm and restore moisturizer, clear jojoba oil, jasmine petal, and paste. Sure. Did you know there's a difference between moisturizer and hydration on products and it depends on what the first ingredient is. I learned this a couple of years ago, but I'm still baffled by the fact that I don't think anyone had told me up to that point that moisturizers and hydration, when they say this is a hydrator in like in lotions and stuff, hydration means that it is based out of water, and the other one, moisturizer, means it's based out of oil. That's how your hydration is going to happen, whether it stays in or not too. And it's bizarre to think that that's not I don't think that's necessarily hugely known. I don't know, because I find out things all the time that I feel like I probably should have learned a long time ago, and then I don't. So we'll see. This is mouthwash, a toothbrush, and a straight razor. Okay. All right. We also got a tub. Cool. That must be the bathroom. Then we have this. Let's go look. Oh, duties. Okay. Dedicants Nosy, Raffaelli, and Tranta. Excellent work lately. The universe will surely reward you. Boys, I expect the same output from you as any other dedicant. Raise your standards. Raise your standards. Okay. So they are referring to people's last names now. So Nosy, Raffelli, and Tranta. Yeah, hydration. I mean, it's dealing with, the whole actual water stuff, H2O, but it's hydration. A moisturizer doesn't specify necessarily closer to the, the water thing, but to me, it makes sense. And it's honestly true if you just look at labels, which is very fascinating in its own right. This is the duties. Okay. So I feel like whoever was doing the cooking killed him. That's all I'm saying. That or gardening. All right, let's go in. Oh, well, we got something more over here. Oh. We have foamy dead goat. Shaved belly. But the goat was definitely spewing. And then we have some gin. We got some face cream, some skincare. Method: start timer and observe effects. After test, clean equipment and water. Results: only took 7 minutes to reach stage 1, and another 15 for the full effect. Conclusion: the method works. Ready to proceed. Sounds like a poison thing. And then we have people in the 40s or 50s. Looks more like the 30s or 40s, actually. Maybe the 20s, because that's very Flapper-esque. Then we got some gin. It's unopened, though. Someone wanted all their stuff, so all their possessions, or at least something to remind them of the real world. We have a bunch of dead fish that also look like they were foaming up at the mouth. And then we have a glove, a yellow glove here. So let's not forget that. It's not pointed out as a clue, but I'm just eyeballing it. Just the magnitude of these heads. Like, look at that. That's like a tin head right there. That's no longer a forehead. That's a tin head. You shouldn't feel sick. Okay. You shouldn't feel sick or sad, for that matter. You should feel nothing particular, for he is not gone. His consciousness has simply been redistributed it. Now, come on. I've already laid the table. Let's eat breakfast. We don't want last night's leftovers going to waste. She sounds far too unconcerned. Also, I think this may be a lady, too. Unsure. Yep, to that. Yes, that's... I don't think even a wig could cover that up. The same thing happened to me. I'm just rereading these just to be like, okay, do we know what day it is? So let's go. Let's go in. There's so many more people. And this guy that's dancing, okay, I never know where to start with these. Looking at this, looks like he set himself on fire, then the water came to put him out, and he was protected, and then he became first sentinel. I guess that's what that means. All right, let's check the drawer. We got a book. Friday. Today is my son's 21st. 21st. Right, this is definitely a weird camera angle. Also, welcome in, picture of a crook. How you doing? I know how to read sometimes. This is Reading Simulator. Today's my son's 25th birthday, making them the same age I was when I fulfilled the ancient prophecy and took on this mantle. Kwanzaa is concerned that our boys are not worthy of their destinies. I must admit I am too. Her intuition has developed impressively since she first arrived here, days before the second proclamation. She has become a fine mother. Saturday. Everything is clear now. The waterfall agrees, and the universe has provided a solution that does not contradict. Sorry, I started reading and then I got distracted by what his face was doing. And so I was reading off of my memory. Has provided a solution that does not contradict any past proclamations. I will reveal the message this evening. Sunday. First thing this morning, before anyone else was awake, I found our stupid goat escaped again. Must have chewed through the rope last night while we were all asleep, as he was definitely there when everyone went to bed yesterday. Completely possible. Okay, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay. Don't you see it? It's as I've been telling everyone for over a year now. Our father never truly understood the waterfall's proclamations. Clearly, it is his spirit that will survive eternally. Now take this and pass it around outside once you're done. Vote. Should there be an autopsy? Anya, Gresto, Koi, Ori, Kwanzaa. Yes or no? Ori has already said no. I'm assuming Ori is this guy. And if we go back out and look at the list, we'll see that he had a job. That's all I got. He had a job. Hello, Ramona. What's the guy at the bottom? You know what? We haven't gotten to him. He's doing his little dancey dance, and you know what? That's fine. How's this even possible after the waterfall's proclamations just the other day? Oh, how will we ever go on without him? Truly a sad boy right there. There's some strong chin and nose genes there. You know what? We'll get to that. I doubt it's Gregory, but that's hilarious. His name is therefore now Gregory. All right. From what everyone has told me, it sounds like the virus you all had a couple of weeks ago is going around again. Surprising though, I'd have expected you all to be immune from getting it a second time. It's also strange that Mr. Nagasai succumbed to the virus while the two others who caught it again seem to have shaken it off. We'll need a full autopsy to get to the bottom of this. Fascinating. Okay, so here's what I'm piecing together already. Is that the first time they ran the test, whoever killed this guy ran the test, that's when they thought they got some sort of virus, but they had been timing it, and so he thought it was a couple weeks ago. It must be a virus. It came back, and I say it came back because that was the trial run. This is the actual event, and so now they think it's a virus, but it turns out. But Ori was also quick to say no to that, which is interesting because he would want to know what killed him. Anyways, fun stuff already, and Gregory is dancing still. Patient history: Pravi Nagasai, severe burns as a young man, otherwise remarkably fit and healthy for his age. Known conditions. Ongoing recommendations cover burn areas from direct sunlight, moisturized burn areas each night before bed. Cool. Oh, we have a severe thunderstorm warning, and apparently there's been a tornado spotted at some point. Fun. If I lose power, that's what happened. Copy of notes from previous appointment. Date November 10th, 1940. Foamy vomit. Diagnosis: Endipy virus. Endipy? Sure. Prescription: antiemetics, fluids, and rest. Note: all followers also infected. Some insist on taking quack's medicine. I'm assuming Gregory's the quack. Let's look at the equipment must be washed in pure alcohol between tests to remove all contaminants. Yes, but don't drink the alcohol while you're on the antiemetics. Absolutely not. No man of this position should ever be made to suffer such an indignity in life or death. Okay. Patient history: Pravi Nagasai. This is the known conditions according to the quack. Gregory is the quack. Gregory quacks like a duck, absolutely. And yes, tornadoes are very scary. I feel like I should maybe be more concerned about it, but what am I to do? Oh, I should have gotten some fresh water. That's like yesterday's water, maybe 2 days ago water, and it's not warm, but it's not cold, and it's I guess it's stale. Anyway, blessed Blessed with Mark of Universe, age 25, destined to live forever. Ongoing recommendations: get plenty of sun on face, a sign of respect for the fire that marked him. You, I guess, embrace rather than treat the marks with which you have been blessed. Bro, absolute quack. It hurts. And you're. Okay. Copy of notes from previous appointment. November 10th, 1940, foamy vomit, solar plexus chakra blockages, homeopathic solution 104. All followers are infected, some are arrogant so as to favor Western medicine. I wonder if homeopathic solution 104 is actually alcohol, which is what would cause the issues with the antiemetics. All right, Lemurian homeopathy. Illness, symptom, alternate cause of symptom, homeopathic cure for illness. Okay, and then we have illness, hay fever, and insomnia. Symptom. Oh, this is leaky eye. Hay fever is leaky eye. Not being asleep is the symptom of insomnia. Feels pretty straightforward. Honestly, I don't know if Austin has tornado sirens. I just realized I still don't have chat on the screen. I was attempting to, then I was like, well, I better get ready for stream. And then proceeded to forget that I didn't put chat back on the screen. Mostly because I forgot how. I learned things for that one time and think, yeah, I don't need to know this ever again. Or it'll be in my brain when I need it later. And then it proceeds to exit my brain so fast. So I have to reteach myself how to put chat back on screen. If a certain substance normally causes a particular symptom, a homeopathic remedy made from the substance will cure the illness that produces the same symptom. I mean, somewhat, but also not really how that works. All right, homeopathic remedies are made by repeated. Okay. Destructive 80-mile-per-hour winds. Oh my goodness. All quiet here, though. Yeah. Absolutely. Homeopathic remedies are made by repeatedly diluting the active ingredient until not a single speck remains, just water. So homeopathic solution 104 is just water, according to this book. Which kind of blows when you're trying to, heal. Bucket filled with foamy vomit. Yeah, This man is not breathing. I knew it was going to say that. I knew it. But that was the last of the clues. So now we can start to put this whole mystery together and somehow have everything that we want. Looking at this, what is this? I don't know if this is just, maybe it's just the floor. I was going to read way too much into something random. We have this book. Kwanzaa is the wife or the mother of the child's, and by child I mean 25-year-old and probably younger guy. The universe provided a solution that doesn't contradict any past proclamations, but someone wanted to stop that noise, so they killed him, I'm assuming. Truly, yes, water has memory. Yes, I hate when I forget how to do things on stream. Like, I'm surprised I got as far as I did. It took me a solid hour of adding and removing different ways of looking at games that aren't necessarily like a full screen game. Like when I do GeoGuessr, that's in the browser, but you don't want to use the browser setting because then you have to like play within. It doesn't make sense to do anything there, because it creates a browser window on OBS. Then you have to do things on OBS instead of just running it through the, like, say, look at the screen and just show what I'm doing on my browser normally. It added extra steps. I was like, oof, no. And it was all about also trying to get the audio because I know GeoGuessr has audio. Anyways, it's been a time. I just need to figure out chat still. I like that the music is different out here than when it is in the whatever this building is. Okay, so according to his diary, this must have happened on Sunday night. This is the only thing I can infer at this point. This happened on Sunday night. Because that's the last entry. And also, the goat's not dead enough, like bloated and decomposed, to be more than, within 24 hours of his last entry at this point. Because that's how he found the goat was escaped. And the only reason we know that the goat is dead is because the goat is actually over here with foamy vomit and shaved patch of his belly. And that's a little bit peculiar. But also, like, the hair's right there. But there's also a straight razor in here. I don't know what to do with all this information. So, let's figure out who everyone is. We don't have an option for Gregory, which makes me a little bit sad. Let's also close this. Nope. So, Kwanzaa, we know, has got to be her. Okay, that's Kwanzaa. And then... Okay. So I'm scratching my eye and trying to think, well, I guess I'll just take one of the headphones off my ears so I can hear if there's a tornado out there. Okay, so... Because my phone keeps letting me know that there's a severe thunderstorm. Which is understandable. Okay. So we have Pravi Nagasai. Which means, I guess, if Kwanzaa is married to him, then she's also Nagasai. And we have the son... These blonde ones, we wouldn't have known that they were going to be blonde. We have the older one who is Ori. He was the one saying we don't want a thing. What is that called? Autopsy. Really had to think about that one. This is Gresto. Oh, Koi is the name of the boy. There we go. And then we have the doctor who... We don't have any of that there. Yes, the solar plexus chakra is... I don't even hear rain. If I hear thunder, I'll be more concerned. Rose got yin yang eyes. Actually, he's got the same symbol as the Harmony Foundation from, the original Rise of the Golden Idol. Prescribed by Dr. Jolene Prinzi. That's what I was looking for. Jolene Prinzi. And then we have, again, we don't have Gregory. Okay. By Rollo Krish. That's Mr. Gregory here. That's actually, his name is Rollo, but Gregory fits much better. He feels like a Greg. Okay. And then we have Gresto, which is this guy. Okay. There's a straight razor in there too. Interesting. That doesn't look chewed necessarily. In fact, it looks like there's someone who was stepped near the goat and then led it somewhere. That does not look chewed and frayed and whatnot. Okay. Morning, serve everyone their own leftovers from the previous evening. So we know who ate what the previous evening. Cool. But also, this might give us a clue as to how the table is set up. Yes, we know that, seniority next to the first sentinel matters. But I looked at the table and there's a gap. And so I was like, well, I don't know why there's a gap. But let us continue. I wonder if they're twins. That's such an interesting rule to have. And maybe that's why they were talking about they're not ready or something, or... Let's read this again. Quanta is concerned that our boys are not worthy of their destinies. Okay, so yeah, they must be twins. But one somehow looks so much younger than the other. 25. But it only also said that it was, my sons as a collective, 20, the plural of both of them. They're twins. Okay, so that's interesting. So not a single one of them, like not those two would have. I can't imagine they would be trying to rush their dad into death. But maybe so. Who knows? Okay, so we saw that on Sunday. These are the people who were working on stuff. A.T. Ania Tranta. Ania Tranta? That makes sense. Maybe. I don't know. Gresto. That feels like a letter that was by Gresto, given to someone. But maybe that's actually Gresto. Gresto Nosy. I am wrong on something, so let's see what it is. It's not Rallo Krish, it's not Jolene Prinzi. Raffelli. Kwanzaa Raffelli. She has a different last name? Interesting. Cool. Great. Got that taken care of. Love that. Okay. So then next we have figuring out the seats. I thought so. Thank you. I thought so. So my initial thought is that Pravi Nagasai died of food poisoning. There we go. Because someone put alcohol, homeopathic alcohol. No, put antiemetics. Not an option? Are you kidding me? Okay, medicine. What did they put? In the food, in the alcohol, homeopathic medicine. No, it's not correct. I know that. Okay, so we don't know enough to finish this off. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's take a look at this, because we know that we have GN, which is Gresto Nosy, who cooked the night of his death. Cleaning, we have Ania. We have gardening, we have Ori. We have overnight watch, we have Pravi, who should have been awake all night to begin with. So the only warning that we got out of all of this is that there should be no antiemetic mixed with alcohol. So, but there is no option for antiemetic. Hang on. Let's go look at this. This is antiemetics. Avoid alcohol during your usage period. Moondrift. I mean, that technically should just be water. We don't know what's in the homeopathic solution necessarily. And then this is just some moisturizer. This has jasmine petal paste and clear jojoba oil. And then we got, standard hygiene things. Appreciate that. In the kitchen, we have coriander seed. We got cumin. We got chili powder. We got the mortar and pestle. We also have some mustard seed. We have some mint. We have some jasmine. And the book. And this is what people are eating. Okay, so here's what we do. So we figure out what are the three common things. 3 people were sick that night, but only 1 died. So that means that the 3 people who had... Hang on. There we go. That means that 3 people must have eaten something similar. They must have had something like whoever had... So 2 people had earth mixes, which had cumin seeds, toll, chili powder, earth leaves. I wonder if it's less effective if it's ground, or if it's more effective if it's ground. We had 2 people with the wild mix, which had the mustard seeds, the coriander seeds whole, and mint leaves. The only things that cross over are the mild mix and the earth mix, and the wild mix and the fresh mix. So 3 people must have eaten something that are only on one of these two, between these 2 mixes. So 2 people had wild mix, 1 person had fresh mix. Mustard seed was whole on 2 of them. So what I'm looking at right now is that wild mixes are right here. Mint leaves, mustard seeds, coriander seeds. And this person had a fresh mix, which had mustard seeds ground versus whole, which is the only thing that crosses over. Now 2 people had earth mix, while 1 person had with cumin seeds that are whole, and one had the mild mix, and that has the cumin seed ground. So I guess we have to figure out. He either sat here, according to the table setup that we saw earlier, he would have had to sit either here or here, never over here. And whoever has higher seniority would sit next to him. Now I assume, but because women don't have any power in all this, I assume, is that they would sit over here. They sat on the other side of the table. This is an assumption based on what is happening here. Women have no power, seniority of who was in the thing, who's in this faction, cult, whatever you want to call it. Which means, I guess, maybe his two sons would be there, and then, oops, this guy? No. Okay, cool. Love that. So we need to figure out the order of everyone, or adjust the idea that he sat by himself, and maybe it's just the general who joined, and we're reading. This is still considered being part of the line. Ooh, so if we think about that, these are on the same level. And okay. Let's figure out where do we find the information of when they joined? Dates before the second proclamation is when Kwanzaa joined. Okay. Second proclamation was 1915. Okay. So this was his proclamation in 1912. And then second proclamation was when she came in. So that would put her like right here. And then that's also something that, to remember that we don't know which side of the table we're looking at. So if we put him over here, that would make her here. Then maybe in this order. I don't know who this is still. Okay. Let's try and figure this out. She came in 2015. So the order. What is the end? Which end of the table? And maybe that's also part of the issue. These two are not the most recent ones. I don't know if that's the order, but I don't know if they're necessarily first. But because they're twins, they would be on equal footing right here. I still think this is correct. Okay, so then the closer to this side they would get. Unless they sat right here, then we just put the women on the other side of the table. Of course, that's not it. Okay, how are we supposed to figure this out? So we know. Okay, let's go back out. That's a little bit scary. You know what? Now I kind of want to look at the radar. Wait, they're. No thanks. Okay. Until 9:45. Okay. Can I get a radar? That would be ideal. Radar. Oof. That looks unpleasant. Oh, I'm hearing thunder now. So, but we only have to sit through this for 45 more minutes. Same as the stream, pretty much. Hopefully, I don't lose power because that's happened before. Okay. Well, I hope it goes well. All right, let's. Yeah, it's raining. Or windy. I'm not sure at this point. So aggressive. Okay, so then let's see what he said. He was feeling sick, but it passed, obviously. This person also was feeling sick. This is Anaya. Okay. She has the watering bucket, which means on Sunday she was doing cleaning, but today, which is Monday, she should be on gardening, which okay, that makes sense to have some water, but where do you do water collection? Like Okay. Okay. I'll try not to get blown away. Do we have any idea how to figure out what they ate? Don't want last night's leftovers go to waste. Okay. It has something to do with where everyone was seated. So this is the same thing. So this is where we get to figure out where everyone will be sitting. I'm trying to see if there's some sort of. So everyone is during the evening. You may rest, gardening duties, cooking duties. Serve everyone their own leftovers from the previous evening's meal. So whoever's cooking today today's Monday. So much just to get back out here. So if she's cooking, which she is, yesterday she was on water collection. Interesting. She does not have a bucket, but she does now. Who's got water? She has garden. Who has water collecting today? Nosy. Okay. Ooh, thunder. Okay. Yeah, that's cut. That's not. That's straight up cut. Um, when setting the table, remember the longer a dedicant has been here, the closer to the sentinels into the table they have the honor of sitting. So, who did dinner last night on Sunday? Dinner cooking. That was Grish. Krish. Who was this? GN. Who are you, GN? Gresto. Gresto doesn't mean that Gresto was the one who did the thing. He was just the one in charge of food. I feel like we didn't get any preferences here. So how are we supposed to figure this out? No one who was sick. Something was put into. Something was put somewhere. Put blank blank in the blank. Let's close this. Homeopathic medicine in the. Is there something we can see just by looking at it? Like, can we zoom in? I can't zoom in on this, but I can zoom in on this. Which doesn't really help. So that's cool. Love that for us. But also, here's the other question I have. Why is the goat's belly shaved? And why are the fish dead? But also the goat was tied up over here too. I don't know how wide of space the goat had. Can we zoom in at this? That's just wildflowers. I don't know. I guess that's a cup ring right there. Maybe the pond water was bad. There's also some gin which has not been touched, so that's not the alcohol we're worried about. Method 5: start timer and observe effects. 6: after test, clean equipment and water. Only took 7 minutes to reach stage 1, and another 15 for the full effect. Conclusion: the method works. Ready to proceed. This feels like 2 weeks ago when everyone thought they had the virus, or a virus. This is double locked. Skincare. I'm looking at this and I'm like, does the color matter? Like, are we going to be sexist out here and talk about how pink is for women? But then I'm like, this looks like a man's wash. This looks too large. But also, I don't know. These are also things for. These are things of someone who didn't have any of their worldly possessions, but they kept them secret. And the first rule, yes, the goat and the fish have foamy mouth. But no one had a key. Not a single person had a key. But doesn't this kind of look like the journal from his room? Also, he would have been around in the 20s along with his wife. So maybe he did this to himself to force his sons to grow up and be ready to take on their duties. There's the face cream. There's the skincare for, his wounds and stuff. There's also a razor, but I'm not sure why he needed to shave the goat. Unopened bottle of gin, just in case, but he didn't take that. But if they use this water, but it was also on purpose because there was an experiment happening. There's also a yellow glove here. So I don't know. Like maybe a dishwashing glove. Um, is dishes a chore that people had to do? Just the washing. And on Sunday, it was Coy, his son, who had to do it. But he was on overnight watch. Over White Notch. Yep, that's what I wanted to say. The one who died was on overnight watch. He was the last one to go to bed because, that's what he does. I wish I could, recreate it. I don't even know what I said, but it turned out that way, not on purpose. I'd rather not do that. It happens so much these days too. That's not what I want to click on. I want to click on here because I want to go back to his diary. He's very sad about his daddy-o. These are burns on his face, or at least burns on that part of his face. So I want to look at his diary. Also, the diary is the same. Today is my son's 25th birthday. 25th? Nope, son's 25th birthday. He was the same age I was when I was fulfilled the ancient prophecy and took on this mantle. Kwanzaa. So that was on Friday. It was a rest day on Friday. She has become a fine mother. Everything is clear now. The waterfall agrees. The universe has provided a solution that does not contradict any past proclamations. I will reveal the message this evening. It was revealed on Saturday. And now he's complaining about the goat getting free. But it did not chew. So the goat's been missing for approximately 24 hours. This is the same one, or it looks the same as the one over here. So is the water the issue? Yeah, that's not the same. Okay. And when we're talking about washing, are we just talking about the tub, the clothes, or are we talking about the dishes? How are they preserving any of this stuff? There's so many questions I have surrounding this little society. Okay. I guess we have to figure this out. There's a way to logic through this. Do I know what that is? Not at all. Not at all. But we're going to figure it out. Okay. So we know that he is the first sentinel. And so maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe his end is over here. Okay, so here's what we have to do. We know that the three people who were sick ate something that was on the same menu. So let's go over here. Let's grab this. That's where I'm still at on this. So wild mix plus fresh mix, which would mean that this person and this person, these three would be on this triangle, or they would be on this triangle. That's all I know. So we need to figure out that's not correct. I know that's not correct. Like the boys. Maybe they sit next to each other. And maybe, again, the women separate. Okay, we're not correct still. So I think these three. So these three are going to be in the same triangle situation. She's going to be close to him, though he was 3 years. She came 3 years after him. So maybe this is the order. We'll put the boys. Right. And that's what I'm trying to figure out is which side of the table is the first Sentinel side. That is the fundamental issue that we're dealing with currently. Is that trying to figure out which it is. I think the boys are probably going to be the youngest. Then we have this person. Then we have this person. There was no real clue as to who, outside of these two, where they started from. Let's do away with material goods and wealth. Which he did. No one has died. So we're not doing that. Twins, they'll be the two first Sentinels next. Sentinel no longer to be met with punishment, but compassion. But his wife showed up right before the second proclamation. First Sentinel will live forever. Just gonna say that's categorically incorrect, for he is dead. Okay. Food poisoning. I wonder why only us two seem to have been affected. Perhaps we have unknowingly reached a higher level of empathy than the others, which allows us to feel the first Sentinel's energy moving through us in his final moments. Nah, it was the food. So that is what I'm trying to figure out is, judging by this, it's either all three ate a mixture of this, and the two. So my thought is that the two who only had the whole seeds, did I miss something where it said that if you put these two things together, you're gonna die? Like, there was nothing about the mint plant versus the jasmine plant versus the chili plant. Only thing we got was don't mix this with alcohol. Moondrift. I don't know what this is. Theoretically just water. And this is moisturizer, which this goes back to it. Moisture. This is jojoba oil. First ingredient. It's never water when it's moisturizer. If you want hydration, you get the water thing. So let's go and look at this person's stuff again. Virus a couple of weeks ago. Surprising. They expected you all to be immune from getting it a second time. It's also strange that Mr. Nagasai succumbed to the virus while the two others seem shaken off. We'll need a thing. Antiemetics, fluids, and rest. All followers also infected. Everyone was infected, but not everyone, because this was a test. Cover burn areas from direct sunlight. Moisturize burn areas each night before bed. Equipment must be washed in pure alcohol between tests to remove all contaminants. There's something about that I keep thinking is like, there's something real important about this. Like the pure alcohol, which you don't want to mix drinking alcohol with it either. To wash this, to remove all the contaminants, if she was given like antiemetics to the guy, maybe it was contaminated. Was it in the jasmine petals since he needs jasmine petals for the moisturizer? Was it in, what is it? The alcohol? the paste. What is this paste from? That's such a non-word. Whatever poisoned them, and that's what we're trying to figure out. Are jasmine petals bad for humans? I imagine no, because we have jasmine rice all the time, but that's not saying the actual petal either. That's ground up some part of the jasmine plant. The goat got away. He was definitely there when everyone went to bed. And Mr. Dancy Dance, he wants him to die, actually. Homeopathic solution 104. All followers infected. Certain substances normally cause a particular symptom. Homeopathic remedy made from that substance will cure the illness that produces the same symptom. What caused the original symptom? Homeopathic remedies are made by repeatedly diluting the active ingredient until not a single speck remains. Just water. In which case, maybe... Okay, hold on. Jasmine petals are in the moisturizer and the mild and earth mix. Okay. It's something that he would use more of for sure. Is this a jasmine flower? What is this supposed to look like? What is the mystery of the jasmine flower here? Is this supposed to represent that moon drift? Is the jasmine flower related to the moon somehow? So the homeopathic solution. But we don't know what. So, again, we're not sure what made them sick necessarily. But maybe it is the people who had the jasmine stuff. But the same could also be said of the people who had the mustard seed. But only one person would be doing one of these more. And that's if they needed a moisturizer with jasmine petal paste. I assumed there was a comma there. Jasmine petal paste. So this is made out of paste. Ooh. Is that why? Hear me out. If you grind up the petals and then you rub it on some skin, then it can elicit that sort of thing. Or maybe if you pour it into the water, and I can't get any closer to these fish to see if they had, maybe the person had on a glove so they could touch the fish. True, you're right. But in this particular case, it's in the moisturizer. I think you're right with the moisturizer and the jasmine. Okay. With this theory now running, yeah, they are part of the experiment. So if he was able to catch fish, rub the stuff on them, the petal paste, and these people had jasmine seeds, which are probably not nearly as potent if they... I don't know how, because if it's not ground up, it's still whole. Like, okay. I don't know. Let's try and logic our way through this too. Okay. That's not useful. Let's open this up. So that means that the mild and the earth, this side of the table. So maybe you don't get as much when you eat ground up cumin or wild and fresh. Wait, what is it? Jasmine leaves. There we go. Jasmine leaves. Mild and earth. So the jasmine leaves are in both. So let's assume, because he is the sentinel, he's sitting here. And then these two, maybe they came in at the same time here as she did. And then the boys. And that's where, okay. He's here. He ate the jasmine leaves. This person ate the jasmine leaves. This person ate the jasmine leaves. She ate none of that. You think somewhere in there. Yeah, it would be weird if everyone sat. So again, this comes back to me thinking, which end is the correct end? But this would have to be the correct end if these three were the ones they were the ones that got sick. So maybe it's not the jasmine leaves. Maybe it's something else, but I don't know what that is. And that's what I thought. Is that the twins go across from each other because they're equal in the sense of, twins. Is there anything else that goes across these three or these four? Because we know he's either one or there. Chili powder, earth and fresh mix. Is chili powder the issue? Are they not used to spice? Is that the issue? But we don't find chili powder anywhere else, and that's also part of the issue. I mean, not there. Jojoba oil, which I don't know what a jojoba is, but I don't know. Wow, it's really loud out here right now. Something made everyone get sick and foam up at the mouth. Okay, so then looking at this, hold up. Let's not go through that one. I don't know. I don't. Anyways, maybe it has something to do with spicy. We have chili powder. We have coriander seeds. What if they were drinking alcohol? Yeah, it's loud as in storming. Yes. I've tried doing the seniority thing too, because here, but you can't necessarily exclude it because, you still need I guess they don't have to be sitting next to each other. They just need to have one common ingredient, because I think that's what leads us to where they were. Okay. So you got the chili powder that's common here, but you also have coriander seeds that are common across this way. So this is the horizontal stripe. Coriander and mustard. Nope. Chili powder. And then you have the mint, the stripe, the vertical stripe of mint and then jasmine. But the mortar and pestle. Does this have anything else? Okay, your choice is rice. Cool. It has to be something related to being over here too. We don't know what's in the face cream. Clean the equipment in water. When they cleaned the equipment in the water, it killed all the fish. That's what happened. Probably. Oh no, you're leaving? Thank you very much. I'm sorry I missed. There's a lot of things going on, and also my butt cheek hurts, so I'm out here just struggling. Thanks for coming in. It's always a joy to have you here, and I'm sure the weather's heading towards you eventually, probably in like 12 hours or so. So be safe. Watch out for flash flooding and any tornadoes. Be safe. Have fun. See you later. Bye bye. Yeah, I will whenever I'm not sitting in this chair. Ugh. Yes. Be careful. Have a good day. Okay, so let's figure out the seniority. Definitely need to figure that out. Skincare, face cream, unopened gin. That's definitely the 20s. But we have no 20s in here. I guess this is when they birthed the when they found that they were pregnant and when they learned that they were having twins. That's my thought on this, is that he made himself, he set the rules for himself. Cool. And then right before then, and they found out they were pregnant, got this. And then they found out that they had twins, and they're like, oh, all right, we can have two first sentinels then. And then probably someone did something bad. I don't know what this could be. I don't know what this could be, that they needed a rule about sin is no longer met with punishment but with compassion, which is fascinating. Maybe he was caught with stuff, or someone was caught with something. Then the first true sentinel, he'll live forever. A year later. Not even a whole year. Year and a half later, actually. More than a year. I know how to count. Yeah? You think the Sons are not good cult members? So let's also take a look real quick, because we can see, boys, I expect the same output from you. The boys are not. Yes. Raise your standards. He's trying to teach them to be better people without, punishment and violence, probably. And they probably killed him. So we'll see. So, looking at this, the seniority, he was the first. Let's just put it in order down here. They may be the last, but also could be either this guy or this girl. Okay. And it's not about necessarily seniority. I can only imagine that they're on equal grounds, because they came out at the same time. So maybe, man, is there anything here that would suggest? Let's take a look at this. First Sentinel, scribe of 28 years. Oh, that's kind of important. Gresto. This is Gresto. Okay. First Sentinel, Nagasai, scribe of 28 years. So it was like 2 years ago to this point. Let's see. He says, for over a year now, Father will never truly understand the waterfall's proclamations. Clearly, it's his spirit that will survive eternally. So I can only suspect that in the past year, this last one came up. So we're in 1941. So 28 years from 41 on back. So 41 minus 28 is in 1913. So Grish might actually be next in line. So weird eyebrow guy. And then, yeah, he was like, they're not ready yet. But this isn't about being ready to lead the cult versus the inheritance of the position when this one dies. So higher level of empathy. So maybe she's one of the next ones Soon after, so she would be next, then his wife, then the boys. I think we've already tried that configuration once. Okay, so we know that we don't know where she has fallen. So, but we know that she's a good member. That was loud thunder. I don't know if y'all could hear that, but that was so loud. Honestly, me either. Me either. Well, you also live in a different part of Texas than I do. Pretty far away, amazingly enough, but also close. Still only like a 30-minute drive. So I wouldn't expect you to hear it, but maybe you should have, and it just hasn't reached you yet. It only reached me now, so it's give it a few minutes, maybe a minute. It'll get there, maybe. Oh, yeah. My microphone's really good about keeping out other sounds out. Like I'm sure you can't hear the sound of the ceiling fan or the refrigerator. Um, yeah, I if I didn't have one ear off, I wouldn't hear what's happening out there either. Oh my goodness. Okay. Goodness gracious. We haven't finished most of this yet, and then we're almost to the end of stream, like 30 minutes out. This is not good. This is a hard DLC. This is legit difficult. Okay. So we know 1912, he sets the rules. 1913, this person joins. When does she come in? We know that she's a good member of the thing. We don't know if she came in before the 15th, the proclamation in 1915. Where do you sit? They're on equal grounds. Okay. Let's swap these two. No, that was incorrect. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look at what's now been eaten, because we're 2-1 away. Probably just one off. So if he ate... So this is the wild fresh mix. There's mint leaves, chili powder, mustard seed, ground, versus the mustard seed that is whole. No, that's obviously not correct. Okay, so these boys definitely are on equal footing. But that's also not correct. What are we missing? No, that I'm 100% sure on that one too. Could be the mustard, I guess. Mint or mustard. I can't imagine it matters for them. Why does that matter? Why does that matter? What? Okay. They ate the same thing and they're twins. In what world did it matter? Okay, then what's the common ground between this guy who had mint, mustard, coriander, this guy who had coriander? No, he did not. He had mint, chili, mustard, and this person who had jasmine, coriander, cumin. They had ground stuff. His was whole. This must have been super refreshing. Especially this one, mint with chili with mustard. Oh my gosh. There is a left-handed sun. Does it matter what sun is right-handed and what is left-handed? You're right. I didn't even notice that. What a great observation. I didn't give much looking at the table. Like I was like, I don't know what these circles, and I realized that's drink. So this is the left. You know what? We probably see that. But let's see. Let's take a look at the kitchen thing. Which recipes caused sickness and which didn't? Therefore, must. Oh, hey, they're helping us. They're guiding us to the answer. I love that. Okay. So this. Okay, we get to put these here. Okay. So we know that the wild mix was not good. We know that the fresh mix was not good. And we know that the mild mix was not good. We know that the earth mix was fine. Therefore, that means that the mortar and pestle no. Okay. Coriander, mint leaves, jasmine leaves. Why is malt mix happy? Malt mix is what she got sick off of. Unless she's the one who did it. I think that's actually correct. So, coriander, the seeds. The seeds. No. No, no, no. It's the mortar and pestle. Unless it's the knife. No, it's the mortar and pestle. Unless it's the bowl? Ladle? No. No. No, I didn't think so. It's the mortar and pestle. There we go. So, something had to be ground up. The mild mix. But the wild mix is what he ate. It's not the chili powder. This didn't change when I switched it. None of these changed. Okay. None of them were safe. Okay. The wild mix? Why is the wild mix? What do they mean by this costed and this didn't? The earth mix was fine. And the wild mix, which is what he ate. Yeah. Interesting. But we now have to talk about the goat. The goat died because someone shaved. Ground. Ground something into a paste. I'm still baffled by this. I'm like, what do you mean? So it has to do with the paste. It has to do with the jasmine petals. Because that's the only paste we've seen so far. Ground jasmine into a paste using the mortar and pestle. And then put it on the goat's belly. Not jasmine. Someone. Well, ooh. Let's go back. What was the commonality between these two? No, no, no. I refuse. It's not jasmine. I don't think it's jasmine at all. I think it's. Is it just seeds? Is it? What is the common? What's the common thing between these two? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But whatever it is was ground. An antiemetic is not here. And that's blowing my mind. But it was ground into a paste. And it wasn't something that he ate. And it has to be the medicine. Ground the seeds. What else can you grind? Because it's not the food. It was just whatever was contaminated with the groundness. What was ground? What was ground? Okay, let's think. It's not the food. Hold up. What else are they? They got chili, they got jasmine, and they got mint. Okay. This is... Okay. Over here, we have... Let's go look. Face cream, skincare. Some sort of medication here. Clean the equipment in the water. That's what killed the fish. The gin is not part of this. It's a red herring. Probably like those fish. What is so poisonous? It's got to be the homeopathic medicine. Solution homeopathic. But the paste, was it put into the moisturizer? Whatever this was that was ground into it? Because someone ground Moondrift into a paste. We don't know what Moondrift is. Theoretically, it should just be water. But we don't know what Moondrift actually is in this case. Okay. Sentinel. Pravi Nagasi died of food poisoning because someone put... No. Moisturizer poisoning? Someone put... in the moisturizer. Something in the homeopathic medicine in the moisturizer. In the moisturizer. Not food poisoning, though. I don't know what this is called. Died of medicine poisoning. I don't know what to call that. Moondrift poisoning. Getting there. Moondrift overdose. Is that a word we have? Moondrift alcohol. Moondrift. Moondrift. Medicine poisoning because Moondrift. Maybe swap these two. Didn't like that. Medicine in the moisturizer. Moondrift poisoning because someone put medicine in the... Maybe it's not... maybe it's ground. Is that a word we can use? Ground. No, that's not the right color, so. Medicine poisoning. Put Moondrift paste. Okay, maybe not. Maybe it's Moondrift poisoning. There we go. Okay, we don't know what's in Moondrift, and that's part of the annoyance. Is that we don't know anything about Moondrift. But hey, we got there. On Saturday, Pravi Nagasai announced that he would embrace immortality. What would he do? What? He said he had an announcement? Not contradict any past proclamations. I will reveal the message this evening. No, because that was already done. That was a year before. That was in 1940. And then his son was talking about it's been a year. He's for the past year he's been saying that it shouldn't be taken literally, that he was going to live forever. He would live, well, maybe live forever it is. You know what? We'll go with that. Live forever. Maybe this is 40 years, or this is in 1940. That probably works. Later, while on this is on Saturday. Okay. I was kind of looking at this a little bit backwards. So let's go out and look at this list. Because on Saturday, on gardening duty, someone took a took a test. Took a test. Goat. Whoever was on overnight duty, that's for sure. Overnight watch. So it was after everyone went to bed. Someone took a goat. You're right about the goat. To the pond for a test. After it was done, so-and-so poured the paste in the moisturizer. But not with what? But not with... Therefore, when the moisturizer was used to prepare Sunday's dinner, oh no. Poured the paste, sprinkled, washed the paste, wash the mortar and pestle in the pond, but not with alcohol. Washed the mortar and pestle in the pond, which is how it got contaminated, but not with alcohol, which is actually how you sanitize it. and make it not effective. Okay. But on Saturday, who was on overnight watch? KN. Nosy? Koi Nagasai. There we go. Yeah. Nagasai. After it was done, he washed the mortar and pestle in the pond, but not with alcohol. Therefore, when the dinner was used to prepare Sunday, when the mortar and pestle was used to prepare Sunday dinner, it made people sick. That night, Pravi Nagasai used the moisturizer, leading to his death. Did we do that first try? That's crazy. That's crazy. Yo, what? 2 weeks before the first Sentinel's death, Ralo Krish had prescribed a homeopathic moondrift solution to treat the Andipi virus and its main symptoms, foamy vomit. Coy theorized, according to the key principles of homeopathy, the moondrift flower should therefore cause foamy vomit. He wondered if it could be used as a topical poison to kill his father without arousing suspicion. Oh, should we have known about this moondrift flower? Yeah, and just in time, too. I really had my doubts about whether we'd figure all this out by now. He wondered if it could be used as a topical poison to kill his father without arousing suspicion, and said it about his test. So the virus was real, but the virus coming back is not it. The moondrift solution had its main prescribed a homeopathic to treat. Okay, homeopathy. The moondrift flower. It causes vomiting. So he thought if he made it a little bit more concentrated, aka just take the flour and ground it down to nothing, whereas the mixes were all, it was a little bit more diluted, even if it was by, lettuce. It's not the same as getting, a huge dose of it. It was super concentrated for sure in the moisturizer. Interesting. Well, we figured it out. Let's see what this is. You're listening to MU Today with me, Gurali Poma. Our top story this morning: the king has announced plans to step down from royal duties following mounting pressure from the clergy and public. In a statement, Tikor Palace said King Orant would relinquish power to his son, Prince Lutri, as an official ceremony on Wednesday. The announcement follows days of unrest in which crowds have taken to the streets to protest the king's recent solstice speech, which centered around plans to westernize Lemuria. Fascinating, because people don't know the king's already dead. He just recorded himself. They had only what he had recorded and then killed him. Yeah, the king that was killed. They didn't know he's already dead. That's crazy. And someone knows how to edit things so that it can sound like he said anything at this point. I'm sure with multiple people writing speeches, that's a lot of different words for, people to just be like, all right, let's pick and choose what he says. And so he sends out messages, or even if it's just a written thing. That's crazy. Certainly the king didn't announce it himself. It was maybe read somehow. That's crazy. Interesting. Ooh, the plot thickens. We're in Lemuria. This is fun. What a nice flag. Well, this has been very successful, and we made it through the thunderstorm, so that's really nice. Ugh. We'll probably be continuing next week. Excuse me. We'll probably be continuing next week on this, which is fine by me. Happy Memorial Day. My birthday do be on Wednesday. What a time. Also, what does this say? I don't think I read this last time. This is interesting. Like, going back, thank you very much. Going back and reading this, right? I'm glad we didn't have to cut it in the middle of the road. But going back and reading this, around 800 BC, High Guardian Trifal Ozal ordered the burning down of universities and libraries throughout Lemuria. His goal was to restrain technological advancement, which had spiraled out of control with blah, 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 blah. At the same time, the Lemurian Empire's various territories united under the current flag. To reflect this, they also adopted the following national motto: "After the inferno, only one shall rise, bearing the mark of the universe." Because of the information lost during this period, the modern population is largely ignorant of the history. Many people believe the motto to be an ancient spiritual prophecy, which is where the cult comes in. And they think it's a spiritual prophecy, and that this guy who got burnt literally would bear the mark of the universe, aka his burnt skin. Turns out, bro was just burnt. In a way that was, maybe he was trying to do some sort of performative act, but he survived it, and now he has the mark of the universe, and I say that with air quotes. So this is fascinating. This is all starting to come together. People really don't want to go, modernized, which, understandable. Look at us now. We have social media, which is both amazing and horrific at the same time. So we'll see how this goes. This is very fun. Yeah. Thank y'all for coming. This is very exciting. I'm excited to see what this is. And it takes the amount of time I spend not playing this makes me sad, because I want to play this and get the story. But I know I probably couldn't do it by myself, because with all puzzles like coding, I will get stuck and then I'm like, I'm gonna need a nap. Yeah, I really truly love this series. I don't think I've ever played so many games within the same series, except for like The Sims, and even then there's only been 4 at this point. And not to mention, there's offshoots, never played those. Just the main, Sims 1 through 4. Haven't played anything as much as this. Like, this is, in terms of DLC, I can't say that either, because The Sims kind of wins everything in terms of how long I've played it and the amount of stuff I have for it. So, but this is really fun. I've never been good at a puzzle game, and I don't know if I'm necessarily good at this one, but I definitely enjoy it and am willing to play more of it, because there have been other puzzle games where I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm all set on it. Oh, that's cool. I have the soundtracks. I really enjoyed the first soundtrack. Not this one so much. I haven't gotten this one, but the first soundtrack, the one where they're at the tower on the beach, the crowning celebration or something like that, that song brings me life. I love it. It's so fun to listen to. It's like base level, cool song, and then it gets weird. It gets real weird, and then it comes back together, and you have the ocean too, so it's really nice. Anyways, I guess it's a lighthouse, but it's a tower, but it's a lighthouse. I think that's one of the same. Just one has a light in it. Anyways, this has been a whole lot of fun. Yep, that's what I said. It's been a whole lot of fun. You'll please send me that video. I would love to see it. This has been a great fun time this Monday. I hope y'all have a great rest of your Monday. And I'll see y'all next week, where we'll be playing the same thing, because I can't not play this. Have a good one, and I'll chat with y'all later. Bye.